All right, and first, the news. Okay, Gyi, welcome back. There have been a lot of discussions around AI. There are 3 announcements that are basically the same announcements about an implementation of AI with lead scoring, right? And that came out today or yesterday at the keynote. So Clio doing lead scoring. Can you tell us more about that?
Yes. And again, I'll be honest with you. That was I've been to a lot of ClioCons, and that was the most information-packed keynote that I've ever seen Jack deliver. Did a great job. But at least 4 or 5 different Clio products that I could count. And one of them, I'm not even sure which product, it must be in Grow, right? Grow will now be doing lead scoring. And for folks that don't know what lead scoring is, Conrad, can you give us a quick overview? Because we're going to dive into lead scoring, right?
We're going to take a little bit of time to talk about lead scoring. But lead scoring is essentially doing what marketers have been telling you all along, that not all leads are created equal. And therefore, and this is where we're going to come back to this, it's really important not to treat all leads the same.
That's right.
So Clio doing lead scoring now in their Grow product. Filevine announced lead scoring through AI the other day.
Yep.
And also our good friends, your very good friend.
My very close friend.
And do you want to disclose?
Yes, as we always do, disclose that my economic interest in investing in and advising Lawmatics, they are doing lead scoring as well.
So Lawmatics announced their lead scoring product 24 hours before Clio did.
Very strategic.
Well played,
Very
Matt
strategic.
Spiegel. But seriously, guys, if you are running intake and intake management software and you are not doing lead scoring, honestly, you're really bungling a really key part of marketing.
And if you're really interested in understanding more in depth about what Lawmatics is up to, you should head over to Law Next, where Bob Ambrogi covered it deeply and is also sitting here to our right. So we are pandering to Bob.
We are pandering to Bob, and he's eavesdropping. I told you he's live tweeting everything we're talking about.
It's a great article, Bob. Really nice job, and listeners should go and check that out. What other news we got there, Conrad?
Okay, Clio has also released their legal trends report.
Yes.
We're going to have a full episode on the Clio legal trends report. And Gyi, I'll note that Clio is no longer a sponsor of Lunch Hour Legal Marketing. We're not doing this just to pander to an advertiser. It's because we think you guys really need to hear some of this conversation. But what's the big point that came out of the Clio legal trends report?
Well, I think there's a lot of big points, but the thing that's most interesting to me, and this has been a theme here, and I think it's been a theme at many conferences where the topic has been AI. You know, the pitch here for AI is that the hours and days of legal work is now reduced to minutes and seconds. And so it begs the question for a lawyer that's sitting there listening, that bills by the hour in particular, all of this time that I used to bill doing this stuff is now taking minutes and not hours. And how is that going to affect my business model and my utilization? And, look, the optimistic camp, the Luddite fallacy camp is that there's going to be all this new work that's going to be opening up. I just interviewed the brilliant Ed Walters, one of the godfathers
Speaking of pandering, well
legal
done.
AI.
Good job.
Yes.
That is kissing up at Lunch Hour Legal Marketing at an unbelievable, unprecedented rate.
Well, I'm feeling very inspired because I just interviewed him. And, not to put words in Ed's mouth, you can go look at what Ed's written and spoken about on this topic. I think he would say that, look, the AI is going to replace the, crap work that lawyers do, that lawyers don't want to do anyway. And that frees them up to do the important work of legal. And so the abundance mindset would be that there's plenty of unserved legal needs out there that lawyers will be able to now serve because they've got all this time. Now, the other side of that coin might be if you're sitting there listening and you're like, I'm a family lawyer in my local community. There's only so many people getting divorced in my local community. And now, and I'm a billable time lawyer. And now all this stuff that I used to bill for now is I can do in minutes and I can't bill for it. And so it starts begging the question of like, what's the business model? Is it project-based? Is it value-based pricing? Is it some kind of new business model? And I think that to me is the thing that lawyers are going to have to address. And I think a lot of lawyers maybe are optimistic that maybe this is the death of the billable hour finally. But it's something that a lot of lawyers are going to have to navigate that is going to be very uncomfortable for many, in my opinion.
So I know this is a news segment, and we're going way down a rabbit hole.
But we're here all day.
We're here all day, so strap in as we continue down the rabbit hole. You know, I ran into Mark Britton yesterday. We had a quick conversation. I remember
Tell the kids who Mark Britton is.
Tell the kids who, yeah. And for those of you who have not been in law for more than 10 years, Mark Britton was the founder of Avvo. He is the person who dragged me into this industry. And I remember when I first met Mark, we did an interview. I can still remember where we were sitting, and he was explaining to me how technology was going to close the justice gap. And you mentioned divorce. There are only so many people getting divorced. But like you and I know as marketers, one of the most common questions we get from family lawyers is, I need to find people who can afford me.
Right.
And the promise is, and this has been unfulfilled, really unfulfilled, is that there's an opportunity to move down market and close the justice gap. AI is going to have some impact on that. How big that impact is, I don't know. But coming back to the overall thesis of the Clio Legal Trends Report, which is where we started down this rabbit hole, their big perspective is that growth is happening in law firms by making lawyers more productive. And law firms are not necessarily growing by headcount, but they're more growing by efficiency, which means their revenue is growing. Their revenue per lawyer has gone up dramatically. And that is a systemic change that they are seeing across law firms.
And and just to take that one step further, if your people cost is fixed because you're not hiring more lawyers and your revenue is going up, guess where that falls down? Onto the bottom line of profitability. And so increased opportunity and profitability for law firms. That's the pitch.
Okay, back to the news. The purpose of this segment was to talk about the news. A lot of acquisition talk from Clio, a lot of acquisition announcements. We have talked a lot about the consolidation that's going on, the impact of private equity, et cetera. What were the then there was one very big announcement from Clio. What were the big announcements from an acquisition perspective?
Well, again, the recent one, and I, you know, it sound like we're pandering here at ClioCon, but the vLEX acquisition, think about this. The vLEX acquisition, which at the time, I don't know when this is going to go live, but they're still pending some regulatory, but they've been assured will be done by the end of this month. So it's clean close to the end. But you think vLEX just happened months ago that this acquisition went down. They already have a product announcement with Clio Library. It's mind-bending to think the work that's been going in to make that happen. But I think to me, like that's the big game changer that, and you know, Jack talked about this in the keynote, is this merger of the business of law, context engineering with the practice of law. And so, you know, doing reliable legal research right inside a single platform. Like to me, that acquisition of vLEX is a game changer. I think that has been mentioned, the data inside of that product is gold for them. There's very few sources of reliable legal data the way that they have at Clio now. And so to me, that's the biggest acquisition, but there are some others. ShareDo was acquired. I don't know what the timing is on that one. And to the point though, and this is why I'm kind of stumbling with all this, is that that's enterprise, right? That's up market. As Jack mentioned, they are being pulled up market because
that was great. That was great PR phraseology.
Really smooth. That these big law firms saw what these small law firms were benefiting from, and they were demanding that Clio go up market.
I think that is whether that pull was genuine or whether it's something that is being proactively done. I think that is one of my takeaways from this conference. Clio is really, and they were very clear, they are not abandoning the solo and small. They were very clear about that.
Yep.
But they are very deliberately being either pulled up market or targeting up market.
No, that's right. And you know, look, and Jack broke down some of the numbers. There's a huge market of SMBs. They're not, you know, their DNA is to serve those clients, but they're going to be then in addition expanding to serve enterprise. And so the acquisition of ShareDo was a part of that. And I'll be interesting to see how that is received because again, as we know, a lot of these larger enterprise firms, like, you know, they either roll their own, so they have their own technology infrastructure and teams. And so it'll be interesting to see how they do that foray into enterprise.
And all of you listening at home, you will note that we have wandered on about the news because Adam is not here telling us to wrap it up.
Money makes it makes a world go round. Money makes a world go round. Yeah, money make a world go round. Yeah, money make a world